Of Israel to the Midwest, Ruri Gilad. Ruri Gilad, welcome to Big 550 KTRS here in St. Louis.
Good morning. Thank you for hosting me.
You got it. We just heard, did we hear ABC News at the top of the hour report that there is some type of ceasefire agreement, at least tentatively?
Yeah, Israel has agreed to one, actually offered one, and let's hope that, unlike previous time, the Hamas is going to respect it.
Okay, so we'll wait and see what happens. We are hearing a number of interesting things sort of permeate through the press, and one of them is that in terms of public relations, Israel is getting a bad rap, if you will, for the constant shelling and the casualties. But it's a very different story when you hear people from the Israel point of view talk about it. In a moment, Ruri Gilad, tell us what is going on from your perspective when we hear things like Israel shelled a UN school, killing 15 people in this school. What's going on there?
Well, as we speak now, I think the United Nations Relief and Welfare Association that deals with the refugees have informed that for the third time since the beginning of the operation, weapons have been found in the premises of a school. Not for the first, not for the second, for the third time. Something that made already the Secretary General of the UN very, very unhappy, and he expressed it a few days ago. I think our attempt to fight terrorists that are hiding behind human shields and also to win at the same time the PR campaign, it's nearly impossible. I understand the media; they are looking, for blood, and obviously, whenever something happens, they inflate it. We are facing an almost impossible choice. What should a nation do when a group of terrorists have abducted 1.7 million people, hiding behind them and launching attacks against this democracy? What should we do?
Let's talk about the tunnels for a moment, because the Palestinians have gotten quite a bit of humanitarian aid for the children, for the depressed, for the unemployed, and we're hearing reports that they've taken this money and built these tunnels, which we're finding out for the first time how many tunnels are actually being built.
As of Friday, we have discovered 31 tunnels, and we are now doing our utmost to destroy those tunnels as soon as possible so we can go ahead with any agreement with the other side. For Israel is not going to pull back before we are going to put an end to this challenge. Only the day before yesterday, those tunnels have been used again by militants in order to penetrate deep into the Israeli area, killing 5 soldiers, and we consider this challenge to be very serious. We are not going to evacuate the area. We are not going to move back unless we finish the job with those tunnels.
And so the argument is that Israel will not allow ships and goods to come in, but when those ships and goods are cement and structural things to build these tunnels, your argument makes a lot more sense.
Look, I think we have to speak about the short run and the long run. The short run is, yes, we want to make sure that there are no more tunnels penetrating deep into the Israeli area, since we consider it as something as a very serious challenge. In the long run, all the precautions that Israel took, what is known to be on the other side as blockade, was done only because of one simple reason: to make sure that there is no militarization, there is no armament of the Hamas. This is the only reason why we had all the precautions. And one can see, by the way, that we have failed. For many years, we knew that cement is being used for the wrong purposes, if you want, misused in the Gaza Strip. There was a very strong pressure of the international community. We renewed the entrance of cement and stuff like this into Gaza, and see what happened. If indeed, and I believe that's the name of the game, there will be an international call, an international support, maybe UN Security Council resolution that will demilitarize Gaza, I think Israel can ease the economic pressure over Gaza, because the only reason for those hurdles is to make sure that those tunnels will not be built, that the missiles and rockets will not be there. And if indeed Gaza will not be a source of terror against the state of Israel, I'm sure much can be done.
Rui, how is the relationship between Benjamin Netanyahu and President Obama, and talks of the conversation that they have between each other, the transcripts being false? How's the relationship? Good, bad, lukewarm?
Look, Kelly, I should thank you for this question because I feel this needs to be clarified. There were many media reports over the weekend that presumably depicted a very tense relationship. I say that there is always a need to make a difference between tactics and strategy, between what's happening now and the overall picture. And I would like to shed some light on the overall picture. Israel is the best strategic ally of America in the Midwest. This was always true, and it is more true today after this earthquake that the Arab world went through in the last 3 years. Every now and then you might have what we call in diplomatic language hiccups. That can be under Republican administrations, under Democratic administration. It's not more than really what we call a hiccup. It doesn't have a real influence on the strategic needs, for the relationship between states are being determined as per the strategic needs. And I believe that strategically Israel and America are exactly on the same strategic place, on the same page. We both would like to see in the long run, the demilitarize of Gaza, hopefully the return of the Palestinian Authority to Gaza. On that, we are exactly on the same page. As for the personal relationship between different presidents and different prime ministers, I really can't tell, and it makes no difference when you see the overall picture.
You mentioned 31 different tunnels. Do you think they've discovered all the tunnels that are there, or do you think there are more?
I'm afraid not, because, again, only the day before yesterday we thought we discovered most of them, and there was another penetration of terrorists along the tunnel, and again it ended up with, unfortunately, killing 4 or 5 of our soldiers. And you know what, I'm not sure we can really discover all the tunnels, and let me tell you that, by the way, not many people know, but at the same time that we are fighting those tunnels along the Gaza-Israeli border, the Egyptians are doing exactly the same in Sinai. The media have not, media did not report about it in such a length because of everything that's happening between Israel and Gaza. But on Sinai, which is basically the border between Gaza and Egypt, 2 Egyptian high-rank officers have been killed yesterday. Dozens of terrorists have been killed. There is also a war in the border between Gaza and Egypt. So this, I think, again, helps you to put things in perspective. The tunnels that run between Gaza and Egypt are mainly to smuggle commodities into Gaza, missiles and things like that. So those are much bigger tunnels. The tunnels that run between Gaza and Israel are, I would say, smaller tunnels. This is mainly for militants and terrorists to run into the Israeli land. But the challenge is the same challenge for the state of Israel and for the state of Egypt.
Rui Gilad is with us. He is Consul General of Israel to the Midwest. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
You are most welcome, and have a good day.
7:30 on the Big 550 KTRS. Let's talk about Dr. Karen Boone, because she can solve your sinus problems for you. Sinus headaches, sinus infections. Guess what? Dr. Karen Boone is first in the region and most experienced in a procedure called balloon sinuplasty. It's a very simple procedure with a terrible name. She will enlarge your sinuses so they drain properly. No more sinus headaches, no more sinus infections. The great thing is that it's permanent. About an hour it'll take in her office, simple little procedure in which she will enlarge them, and they will stay enlarged permanently. No more sinus headaches, no more sinus infections, no longer waiting online at the pharmacy with meth addicts for your cold medicine. Dr. Karen Boone comes from a long line of family doctors in St. Charles. MetroSinus.com is the website. MetroSinus.com or 636-685-8040 or MetroSinus.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Lapidus,